Good. Then we turn the thread slightly longer. Then take this out. Then let's make this hole now. Give him a charge. Still the same as before. We're now 6 short needles, 1 to 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we are on each short needle. Pick the outside half needle. Pick half coil. It is the same as when the needle is reduced. Pick half coil. Good 6 needles or pick half a coil. Then after picking, pull it tight. Pull this thread and pull it tight. There's going to be a little bulge here. Then we'll go through the middle. Put this thread through the middle, worn from elsewhere. Then pull. Then we follow the texture of this stitch. Hide this thread. Here's one, and that's how we sew. Sew like this. Follow his vertical. Vertical down the texture like this seam. It can be where the hole is relatively large. Go in a little bit for a stitch or two. Then, just fill in the hole a little bit. That thread is slightly. Pull tight. Then cut him. Here's the thread and he locks it in. I can't see this thread anymore. Then round the body a little. When cotton is stuffed because of cotton, not so round, so after the hole is done, rub it. What if we hook hands next? Easier, but right now. Before tying the slip knot, leave a section in front. Just enough thread to sew. About this long. Enough for a suture needle to go in. Then sew it to the body of the baby dinosaur. Then we tie a slip knot here. Once the slip knot is tied, we put it on the crochet hook. For lock stitches on crochet hook. 1. Wait a minute, 1. To 3 for good. Let's take a look at the 4 lock pins. This loop on the 12:30 for crochet hook does not count. We go back and tick. The penultimate stitch is hooked inward. I also pick half a needle and thread it in. Hook a short needle. Then the next stitch inside. Put it in and hook it out with the short needle. Still in the next stitch. Hook out a short needle. Good. In this case, it is a hook with the palm of one hand. What about us? It is also necessary to leave a super long thread between the teeth. Tick one more. 2 palms. I'd rather stay longer. Don't keep it too short. If it is too short, it will not be easy to sew. The penultimate stitch is a short stitch. A short needle, last short stitch. The same here. In this way, the 2 palms are hooked. Then I put it aside. Look at this little palm. Let's hook this tail of the dinosaur. It is still light blue and the same color line as the main body. Loop the same loop as the main body and loop the 6-pin winding. Go inside this loop. When the thread is hooked out, place a stitch on the loop. So we can let go. If that's the case, set a needle. Stand up and we're inside this coil. Tick 6 short needles in the game circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the thread pulls the coil taut. Pull as tight as possible. No seam in the middle. Still the same spiral hook, but the second line is different from the method of the main body. In the second row, add 1 stitch directly every 2 stitches. After crochet, it is 8 stitches. 1. Do stitches at intervals plus 1 stitch for 2 sets of hooks. Second group. An extra needle. Okay, I turn it over. Thread tension. Then the third line starts. It is every other short stitch plus 1 stitch. There are 4 groups in total. Then we use the thread we just had. Make a mark. On the right where we finished our last stitch. Stitch by stitch. 1. Then a plus. A total of 4 sets of hooks. 1 stitch. Then a plus. Tick the place marked by our side. Let's keep this black wire out. If the thread in the middle is too long, you can cut it off first. Then add 1 stitch every 2 stitches. And the same place as the subject. 2 stitches apart and 1 extra stitch. But here it is for groups, not 6 groups. First group. The second. Is that you? Fourth group. Okay, let's check the last line. The last line and the 5th line are spacers. Add 1 stitch every 3 stitches. Adding 1 stitch every 3 stitches is also for groups. 1, 2, 3. 2 groups. To 3. 3 groups.